If there is one Disney film that I say is massively underrated, that is Simba's Pride. Admittedly, I was obsessed with this film, painfully obsessed. The Lion King was my favourite Disney film throughout my entire childhood and teenage years, and Simba's Pride came a very close second. I absolutely adored this, and one of the reasons, not just because I loved Kiara and Kovu, but one of the reasons is because the soundtrack is so incredible. And it occurred to me that I've never actually talked about the soundtrack in isolation. I've discussed the film about 11 years ago, but I've never really talked about the film too much, so I really just wanted to take the opportunity to kind of gush about how much I absolutely adore these songs because I do think that they are amazing. If you've never seen the film, please go and see it because it is just so exquisite. It's absolutely beautiful. Um, but even if you just listen to the soundtrack, I promise that you will absolutely adore it. So it's not the longest soundtrack. The CD itself doesn't have that much in terms of backing music or instrumentals, by which I mean it doesn't exist. So it's quite short, but where it lacks in quantity, it unquestionably makes up for it in quality. It is an absolutely stunning, stunning soundtrack. So the songs I'll start off with, it starts off with He Lives in You, which is kind of haunting. It's a hauntingly beautiful song that I think is just one of those songs that once you listen to it will stick in your head. I try and not compare this soundtrack to that of the first Lion King film because they are very different. Given the fact that the first one was mostly Elton John, it seems a bit weird to compare them. But there is an element of this one that I feel could have easily slotted into The Lion King. This was written by Lebo M and performed by Lebo M and his South African choir. Um, and I think it's utterly, utterly stunning. Um, the version that's used in The Lion King, I believe, is in The Lion King 2, is a much shorter version. Um, and I think slightly adapted quite a bit. But it's absolutely beautiful and worth listening to all the way through. I think you will love it. The same goes for We Are One. This one is one that I had a I had like a Disney karaoke CD at one point, and this was my song of choice without any question. I just think it is so beautiful. It's sung between Kiara and Simba, and the song is all about. It's kind of like the same as the circle of life. The circle of life messages that we are all connected. You know, we eat the antelopes eat the grass. We eat the antelope. When we die, our bodies become the grass. It's the circle of life. We Are One is kind of similar, um, in that we all have a part to play. Kiara, one of the lines here, it's one of my favorite lines is, "If there's so much I must be, can't I still just be me the way I am?" Because Kiara doesn't really want to grow up to be a princess. Um, but Simba's like, you've got a part to play in this world. We are more than we are. We are one, and we have to work as a unity and all play our roles. And it's a really lovely song, and I love little Kiara's singing voice. Absolutely beautiful, stunning song. The one that you'll probably catch me singing off guard the most. So my apologies to anybody who experiences that. Another underrated song that I don't ever hear anybody really talking about, but one that I think you will absolutely adore if you've not heard of it, is this one's antagonist song, and that's My Lullaby, which is sung by Zira. Zira is the mother of Kiara, Natani, and Anuka, and she's basically singing Kovu to sleep, and it's a lot more gentle than say Scar's song, which was of course Be Prepared. This one's a lot more gentle. It is a lot more like a lullaby. The lyrics, I love the lyrics for this one. I love the song. I love the rhythm. I adore absolutely everything about it. And that it has just occurred to me that this is maybe the only soundtrack I've ever come across where I genuinely love every single song on it. Which admittedly is not saying much since it isn't that long, but I do actually love every song from Simba's Pride. which I guess is probably why I loved it so much. So My Lullaby is just, oh, I absolutely love it. Upendi is certainly the first upbeat track on this, and maybe the only one really. In Upendi, where the passion fruit grows sweet, there's a scene in this where adult Kiara and Kovu are riding a giant leaf down like a river, I assume. And it just reminds me of like a log flume, and I absolutely adored it. We have Rafiki here. Love seeing Rafiki in this film. Adult Kiara and Kovu, as cute as they are as cubs, I do love them as the adults. And this is kind of when we begin to acknowledge that Kiara and Kovu are more than just friends, but they are star-crossed lovers because they are from opposing families, and their pacts should not combine. But I love Upendi. It's tremendous fun. The monkeys are great in it. The bright colours, the animation style, slightly psychedelic at times almost, the way the editing is done. But I think it's beautiful, and Kovu has the best facial expressions. There's a scene where I think, if I remember correctly, it has been a little while since I've seen the film, where they're about to fall off of a waterfall, and Kovu just makes the cutest face ever. That one is a lot of fun. And then we have One of Us, which is the penultimate one that isn't a reprise, and this is a heartbreaking film, a heartbreaking song, but it's a heartbreaking film as well. But this song, He's Not One of Us, when it's when Simba screams the word exile at Kovu because he believes he is putting his daughter Kiara at risk. I don't think I mentioned that, by the way. Kiara is Simba's daughter, and He's Not One of Us is when all of the animals in Simba's pride begin to sing this to Kovu during his exile, and it's just heartbreaking because it's so easy to love Kovu, and you can see he is not a bad person, even though he is the spawn of Zira. He is a good lion, and he shouldn't have ever been exiled. It's a beautiful song, very emotional. The same, I guess, with the final one, which is Love Will Find a Way. In a perfect world, one we've never known, and one will never need to face the world alone. The lyrics are so gorgeous. This is primarily Kiara singing this, and her vocals are so stunning. And there are some really beautiful scenes in this. Definitely, out of all of them, I think Upendi and Love Will Find a Way are the ones where having the animation on screen while listening to it definitely enhances it. I love listening to them all independently, in isolation, without any animation, but Love Will Find a Way and Upendi are definitely incredibly enhanced, even more than they already are, with the actual scenes. I just think they go so well with the lyrics, and it's really emotional, and it's an absolutely beautiful song. So if I had to rank these, which I guess I don't have to, but I will, I'm going to go in reverse, and I will say, oh, this is difficult. He Lives in You at the bottom. Oh, I'm going to actually say Love Will Find a Way, and then We Are One. No, One of Us, We Are One, Upendi, and then My Lullaby. I think. Maybe. I love them all so much. If you've never seen the film, please go and see it. Please get the DVD or even the VHS if you have a VHS player. I wish I still had a VHS player. There's just something so nostalgic about hearing the tape rewinding at the end, or at the beginning if you've forgotten to do it last time, which I definitely did a lot of times. It's really beautiful. I promise if you like The Lion King, you will love this as well. It's not one of those sequels that doesn't work. It's not cheesy. It doesn't feel cheap. I believe Simba's Pride was direct to video. Yes, it was. But it doesn't feel cheap. It is beautiful. I absolutely love it. The narrative is gorgeous, but it's completely enhanced by this soundtrack. I will always treasure Simba's Pride, and the soundtrack is definitely one of the main reasons for that.